Keith, massive game for the County of Cork this Saturday, the under-20 football final. I might just ask you first about injuries and fitness. How are you looking on that front?
Yeah, we're looking fine. There's always one or two knocks. We had a few knocks last weekend. Delighted with Daniel. Daniel got a knock in the head and we were worried about him, so we took him off. But, it was just actually a knock. There was no concussion, there was no antenatal, thanks be to God. And so he was fine, so delighted for him. So he gets an opportunity to put his hand up again for this weekend. Everything else is really straightforward enough, thanks be to God. We have received very little injuries this year, and so from that point of view, good. There's good, healthy position for places, and I will be, I think the lads are really looking forward to it. I mean, we have played Waterford, we have played Kerry, we have played Tyrone, and now we're going to play in Dublin. I mean, what else would a young fellow want, to say that he played and he going back to college or going back to school or starting college next year and having done this in the summer? Like, I'd say the next best thing to going off interrailing or something. This has been a fantastic idea, trip for them, and the next Saturday is the last day of it, hopefully.
Hopefully you them leave before the final as well. The Tyrone game, look, obviously you're coming into this off the back of a few wins, which is great. That's great for confidence. But to win in the manner you did, coming back from 7 points down, that must even increase confidence even more within the players.
Yeah, I was saying to the previous reporters earlier on, that the confidence really for us, and I would think in reality, is the confidence doesn't come from winning, because it's a bit flaky if it does, because we end up losing a lot more than we win in life. So that means we must be all in no confidence. But confidence comes to know that you have the ability to solve your problems, and that when the going gets tough, that you're not going to lie down and that you're going to face it, whether you're successful or not. That's where confidence comes from, and to be brave enough to face it. And I think that that's the beauty of this current bunch, that they do seem to be, and they have no evidence to say otherwise, that they're a brave enough bunch to face down whatever it is they're facing, and to give it a go. And that's all you ask of any young lad in this generation and this day and age, and this ask of any Gaelic football and any sports person, that you do your best. You go out and give it your best. You face down your fears, and if you're beaten because it's a better team. You're not beaten because you froze. You're not beaten because you gave up or you went into a corner and just felt sorry for yourself. You keep going, and that's what they did last week. And I was very proud of them for doing that last week. And I was very proud that their parents and their clubs and their county could experience their achievement in doing that.
You mentioned the players' problem solving. Is that the kind of coach you are? Do you like to, I suppose, get to the players to a certain level and then let them figure things out themselves on the pitch? I was listening to a discussion about Brian Cody and the way he coaches his hurlers in the Kilkenny team, that he likes to let them, make their own decisions on the pitch and not to be too overcoached going out there.
Well, I suppose Brian Cody has figured out a lot longer and quicker than I did. But when a fella crosses the line, the amount of decisions that he has to make in any one game is phenomenal. And so therefore, the amount of decisions I have to make in any one game is very minimal, right? Do I take off this fella? Do I move this fella? Do I leave him on? Do I the referee or don't I referee, right? These are the few decisions that we have to make, right? And what am I going to say to him at half time? And what am I going to say to him full time? These are few decisions we have to make. When a guy crosses the field, he's in decision mode for 60 odd minutes at top pace, out of breath, under pressure. So therefore it makes much more sense that you empower them to make decisions and go with the decisions in terms of coaching, and you provide a platform. But this is not about, look, this is about players. I finished playing when I was in my 30s. A bad player, but I enjoyed it, and there was nothing beat, and even now, I'd much rather play a junior B football match than be on a line in an All-Ireland final, because there's nothing beats playing. This is only the second best thing to it. So when they go out, it's about them, it's about the players, about their involvement, about their enjoyment, and about their decision making. So let them make the decisions. There's consequences to every decision, the good and the bad. Some fella you tell, put it over the bar, he goes for goal, he gets it. Who's going to give out to him? He doesn't get it. It's saved, it goes down the field, and he has the consequences of that. So, but every guy must go out with a good intention. That's to work hard. Every guy goes out with the intention to do his best, and then every guy must be empowered to make his right decisions for himself.
The tally was good against Tyrone. You've had good tallies throughout the championship. But against a team like Dublin, do you think you might need more contributions from the whole forward line in this game on Saturday?
Well, our forward line starts with our goalkeeper and works it up. So, I mean, and when we get the ball, whoever gets the ball is the first forward, right? So we'd be hoping that he would use that ball as quick as he can and as best as he can and makes the right decision as best he can as he sees it. We'd be hoping, and there's no doubt about that every fellow will be looking for the ball and every fellow will want to get on the ball. Because if not, they wouldn't be playing because, they'd be fear of making a mistake. So the enthusiasm is important, that they want to get on the ball and do their best. But if they're going to be afraid of missing a shot, if they're going to be afraid of doing something, well, they shouldn't be there. No fellow should be there, because it's not the right place for any fellow to be in sport, because in sport it is ultimately about getting the ball between the posts, no matter who gets it, right? We've got good tallies so far. There's no evidence to say that that we can't do that against Dublin again. Obviously Dublin have also got good tallies and they're good. And we've conceded very little up to last weekend when we Tyrone really opened us up. So that's something that we have to work on. There's no doubt about that. But our defence starts with our full forward line, and our forwards start with our goalkeeper, and and anyone who's on the ball first. And I'd be just expecting everybody will do their best, as they always do. And if that best is good enough, well, fine. If it's not, then that's the way it is.
You said Tyrone opened you up. Is that down to do you just have to accept that because you're playing a brand of attacking football, that this is going to happen against top quality teams, and it might happen again against Dublin? How do you guard against that within the space of 6-7 days before the final?
Well, you could argue that, but the science behind it would say that Kerry would be a good top quality football team. We didn't concede too much. No, I think that one of the things that we do after every game, every training session, every A versus B or 1 versus 2 or whites versus reds or whatever we play, the lads would go away and they'd think about their performance. They'd write down 2 or 3 things that they'd done well, and one thing they'd like to improve, and they'd text that to me, right? And that's their kind of goal for that week, and there's no doubt about it. After last weekend, one of the big goals from everybody was, we did switch off at times, and we did allow the runner, and we didn't push up on the man when we should have pushed up, and we were kind of a bit silly in some of the defending that we were doing. But as the game went on, they started to solve that problem themselves. And well before the Tyrone man was sent off, they had caused the incident for the Tyrone man to be sent off in terms of the frustration and or whatever, because they had pushed up on them in and they were doing the bits and pieces, and things weren't going Tyrone's way anymore, and they were starting to go Cork's way, and that was a good sign, so therefore and in that period of time we conceded very little, and we were still playing our attacking football. So it is there's 2 things in Gaelic football, you either have the ball or they have the ball. And the third one then is the ball is in the middle there for everyone. There's only 3 times where the ball is, right? And you have to have the same approach with both. When you win the ball, you must keep it and move it as quick as you can. When you don't have the ball, you must work hard for it. And if it's in the middle, then it's there to be won. I think the lads applied that better in the last 20 minutes of the second half against Tyrone, and that was the result of the win. They did cut down on the scores. They did cut down on the scoring opportunities. They did get the blocks in. And that's what they expect. That's their expectations of themselves. So they said that, and I was happy enough that they done that in the second half.
You also show that you have scores on the bench as well. Several players came off the bench against Tyrone and got scores. How important could that be in the final?
Well, it's like a game of cards. We play games cards, and the north side is Don, and there's the Don card, and the Don card is the card that wins the game. And if you hold the Don card, you might throw it on, you might bring it on, but you throw that down at the time it's needed. Now it might be a card you already have in the pack and you just didn't use, or it might be a card you want to bring in. But there's 21 cards in every deck on a Gaelic football team. You try to use them as wisely as you can. You also try to make sure that every guy that comes on contributes, and every guy that is coming on wants to be on, right? And you're not you're playing. It's a 21-man game now. You're not starting your best 15. This is it. This is it. Anything else is worse. You're starting 21 players that you're playing with 21 players that you think this guy will contribute to what's going on, and the guy that's coming off has given his lot. He may have played well, he may have not played well, but he has given his soul to that, right? And the guy that's coming on carries that energy and brings more to it. And that's what you'd be asking every fellow to come on. And that's what these lads do. So it's not a case of, bringing on subs. There's no point telling a fellow he's important and never playing him. If he's important, you can play him in important games. And everybody on that panel is important. So everybody has the opportunity to play in important games.
Sticking with your deck of cards analogy, the ace in the Dublin pack is definitely Kieran Archer. So how do you try and eliminate him or keep him from scoring too many goals or points?
Well, he's certainly, I think, as I said to the previous reporters there, I've yet to see Kieran Archer take the kick out, catch it, and kick it into himself and then get it. So he's obviously a part of a very, very, very good process. Yeah. And that good process is a good team, well managed, well disciplined, well organised. Kieran makes good runs, he gets great ball, but he's part of a process. I mean, if you take and just concentrate on Kieran Archer, we're in huge trouble, right? In the same way that if Dublin concentrate on one or two of our players only, they're in trouble. You have to watch any fella that's an inter-county player that's been picked through a selection process, which takes years of development, years of work, to get through to be chosen as being one of the best players in this county at that age group. Then he's going to be a good footballer. There's going to be no slugs in that Dublin team. There's going to be no slugs or slouches on the Cork team, and they're all going to give their all. And everybody has to be watched. Everybody has to do their business. And if you go making special attention to X player, then Y player comes up trumps. So you have to give attention to everybody, and that's what we'll be doing. Equal attention, equal respect to everybody. I mean, in lots of ways, football is very communist, you know what I mean? Because everybody is treated the same, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble, The same rules apply, the same ball is used, the same ferociously tackles is used, it's the same thing. So you don't pin out one player. Even though I know sometimes it's nice to media, and it is great to recognise a guy that is talented like Archer, and there's other guys that are on the field like the two O'Learys and Coffey Byrne and Lamb coming out of the ball in the back line. The way Shea is a very, very good footballer, right? These lads, they all deserve recognition too. Archer happens to be the guy that puts the stamp on the product before it goes out the door. But he signs off, as the man says. But there's a lot of work to get there, and it's the same in Cork. We have very, very prolific scorers. We've done very well all year, but it's a team effort, and I think Tom would recognise that, and I certainly recognise it.
Absolutely. The venue itself, O'Moore Park, you happy with that and confident you'll get a good support, because it's a long enough spin for Cork supporters?
It is, yeah, but sure, we've been used to that. We played in Portlaoise a few times this year now. We've been up around that area a few times in the different things, John Kearns Cup and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, so we were in Tullamore last week, and Cork is a phenomenal size county. We have guys that will travel 2.5 hours to get to Cork to train. So that's to come to Cork City to train. They will travel 2.5 hours. We're training in Clonakilty tonight. We'll have guys moving from North Cork and North East Cork into Hallow and all that area, and we have guys living in West Cork that will still travel an hour, and guys from North Cork will travel an hour and a half, around 40 minutes. So travelling, it creates a bit of a resilience in a guy too. And our guys will be a resilient bunch now, and they'll be there at training tonight, and they'll be all in time, and they're kind of a unique bunch that way. And next Thursday night then we'll be training again, and we'll have another crowd, and they'll have all travelled. So travelling is no bother to them. It doesn't throw them out here. Playing in any pitch in Ireland, that's the beauty of the GA. You can be anywhere in Ireland and be in the same place at the same time. The same type of people are there, the same GA people there, the same groundsmen, the same type of decent, honourable people. I was in Tullamore last week. It was a pleasure to be there. It was my first time being on the sideline in Tullamore. It was a pleasure to be there. But I could have been anywhere. I could be in any pitch. It could be my home club. The grass is there. More or less the same size. To the same type of post, the same type of ball. There's a referee that's going to be refereeing it as best he can, and so there's no different. I don't care where we play. I play on the side of a mountain, and I think the lads would too. They're not into that. They just want to play games, and there's 3 Gs. I would have always. I work with students, and the 3 Gs are games, grubs, and you can think of the other one yourself, right? And there's actually gears, not girls, right? And the other 3 things that young lads love and being involved with, and games, and they go to the ends of the earth to play games. It doesn't bother them. So being in Portlaoise, we could be with Templemore, we could be in Dublin. It doesn't matter where we are. We're happy to be playing games, and they're also happy to play in an All-Ireland final. The fact that the hurlers are there before, the Cork hurlers are there before, there'll be a nice Cork crowd there, and that'll be lovely. And but the Cork supporters have been supporting this group since our first game that we went to Clonakilty with this year and played Kerry in Clonakilty. It's kind of brought to West Cork. We went down, we brought the Mountain Mohammed, so to speak, for the first time out, and then when we brought him back, they followed us around. So they've been following us around since. So there's a good Cork support, and I expect no different the next day.
Great. Just ask you finally then as well, because I've seen the senior team a couple of times now this year. I know the minor team is going very well too, and while the senior team mightn't have got the results in the quarter-final series, they're playing some brilliant football, and it's easy to see that there's something happening there. And with yourselves going so well, and the minors as well, do you feel Cork football is getting back to a good place?
Well, you see, everything comes in cycles. You know, you're around long enough. I mean, only a couple of years ago we were talking about the demise of Cork Hurling, and oh my God, we're going to the doldrums, and all of a sudden we're in All-Ireland semi-finals again, in All-Ireland quarter-finals, and you know, we're contesting, and you know, we're still contesting an under 20 All-Ireland semi-final this weekend as well. Yeah, things come in cycles. I think what you must do is your job is to provide. My job, I would say anyway, is developing that, you know, in the under 20s, is to develop these young lads so that when it does come right, they're ready. The type of guy that we want is ready, you know, mentally, physically, you know, skillfully, that he'll be ready. You know, if you learn to ride a bike, I was saying to the lads earlier, you don't unlearn to ride a bike. You don't unlearn to be a good footballer. You just may not be playing well. You know, things may not go right. But if you stick to a system, and if you stick to the belief, and you stick to the passion that you want about it, it comes right again. And that's all that's happening in Cork football. It's just coming round again, you know.
There does seem to be a strategy there in place that maybe that everybody's kind of singing off the same hymn sheet now, and it's starting to pay dividends.
Well, I think what it is that people now think that the most important part is not a blueprint, it's not a plan, it's the DNA. Yeah. The type of guy that we want, the type of person that we want involved, the type of people that we want, you know, playing our games. It's more DNA than blueprint, if you know what I mean. Even though there is a plan there, and there are goals that we've set out for ourselves, and there's a 5-year plan and all that kind of stuff, which are important. But what is more important is there's a passion that people want to play. I've never ever came across a guy that didn't want to play for Cork yet. As bad as things were perceived to be from the outside looking in, everybody, you know, I asked 5 people to get involved with the team this year at the very outset, and selectors and stuff like that. Everybody put their hand up straight away. I didn't have to ask 6 or go around looking for people. It wasn't, you know, if there was that negativity, you know, I don't think it was negative. I just think it was, you know, just it wasn't going well. But negative is where you're really worried about the future, worried about the future of Cork football. I made a point there around that there's more guys, boys now, young boys, playing Gaelic football in summer camps this year in Cork than there is in the whole of Connacht. That's a phenomenal number. Like we have huge numbers. We have loads of people playing our games. Our underage is flying. Our, you know, our development squads are, you know, they're doing very well. You know, our schools are, you know, the people are playing football in the schools at first level, second level, third level. I mean, you couldn't. You know, our problem is that we haven't got enough pitches in CIT for the amount of people that want to play our games, right? Mm. And they might come from all over, but the people want to play games, and the amount of Cork guys want to play football, and the amount of Cork guys who want to play hurling, right? And girls who want to play ladies football in Camogie is phenomenal, right? Yeah, it's negative when that's not happening, right? It's just slightly worrying that we're not getting the best out of them. But that will come again, and I think that comes again with, you know, a small bit of luck, a small bit of passion, a small bit of organisation, and you know, making sure that the right people are involved. And I think there are. I mean, we have a very good cohort of people involved in Cork at the moment, not just currently, but in the waiting. You know, we have a lot of good people that you can call upon to come in that would be supportive of it, that would do their, you know, do their damnedest to make sure that we do well. There'll be there's no shortage of supply of that, like, and yeah, I would be confident, you know, going forward into the future that, you know, Cork will be turning again, and I would be also confident that when we do turn, we'll be ready, which is the big thing.
Thanks for your time, Keith, and best of luck in the final.
Thank you very much indeed, and lovely to meet you. Thank you.
You too.